Good morning, guys. Just want to do a quick Q&A for you guys and any questions you want to ask. Quick update too. I have officially gotten my cast off and my finger is sort of back, but it's just now I need to do exercises to get it to bend again. So, and it still kind of hurts, still in pain and all that stuff. So, working on that. But yeah, things are moving along with my injury. So, thank you guys for asking um, and being worried about me. I appreciate that. It's nice to have people care. And yeah, so I'm glad I get to do these live Q&As, but pretty soon I'm gonna have to do less of them as I'm going back to work soon. Now that I have my finger back, so I'll enjoy doing a couple more of these, but I'm going to have to maybe pick a different time or uh, do them more sparingly. So, but thanks for you guys for watching anyway. It's probably a lot of people's lunch hour or about to be lunch hour. So if you guys are watching me, hope you guys are enjoying your meal. Um, if I were to choose today's topic, I know this is just a live Q&A, but if I were to choose today's topic, uh, it would be today more than anything. There's going to be lots of time you spend on the internet. And because of this, you're going to get lots of information and about certain things. And one of the things that people love talking about the most is intersexual dynamics, dating, marriage, um, sex, all that stuff. Okay, it's very interesting because it has to do with us, our own experiences. Everyone seems to have something to add to the table in terms of this. Uh, in terms of this, what do you call it? This kind of niche or part of the internet. The problem is it's easy to go on the internet and type things. There is no bouncer at the door for the red pill or for anything. You can just say things, and if they sound nice, people will go with it. And people usually pick things that kind of appease their ego, that make them look good, that kind of reflect their moral investments and their morality onto the world. And there's a lot of work to be done there for people like that because really when you're dealing with something as fickle and as kind of changing as fast as it has that is dating, you're not always going to be able to just sit on the internet and be like, this is what it is because I said so. You're going to have to like really experience it yourself and come up with some cold hard truths, and most of them are going to be about you and how you dealt with it, and that's really what we're here for. It's not to win, it's not to bring together a group of men. It's essentially we want to find strategies to win. And the only way to do that is everyone has to have the same goal, right? And that's rule zero. The goal is for you to have a positive male identity and more sexual options in the marketplace. What does that mean? That means you don't kid yourself. That means you're honest with yourself. That means you understand your masculinity, your biology, what you truly need as a man, and what you want. Not what the world wants for you, but what you want within reason, and strategies to get that. No one is here to choose for you, and that's what a lot of guys are terrified and don't like uh, the red pill is because it. They're like, well, what about your fellow man? I'm like, that's never the point. The point isn't to use the red pill as some kind of personal army or moral, whatever to get other people who don't care about what we think to act in a way we want. You don't control the universe just because you understand intersexual dynamics, right? Uh you have power over yourself, and that's it. And the faster you realize that, the more silly the online discourse about dating is gets, because you kind of realize who's actually been humbled or who's actually understood uh, the dating market and who just talks from an armchair. And that's the difference between the man in the arena and a person who's not a man in the arena. The man in the arena, everyone looks at the guy who's trying to like figure out his dating problems and and his reproductive problem, and everyone in the Coliseum stands is just elite, nose turned up, doesn't really thinks they're above it, thinks that they're better than this and the whole system, and that if they were to try to date themselves, it would be so easy. But they have some excuse like, "Oh, I'm married," or "I just don't care anymore," or "I just pay for it." Whatever. Everyone tends to look down on guys that are struggling or fighting their way through or trying to figure out women so they themselves can be happy one day. But as you know, this place likes to attract people that are all talk and don't want to do the work. And when I say the work, I know that's container word now. Do the work. What does that even mean? Well, do the work means like actually talking and going on dates, getting rejected, getting getting pushed down, feeling frustrated, having great victories, great failures, and ultimately learning about yourself. The biggest victory though you will have in dating is knowing yourself, getting to figure out what you want. Your whole life you may have thought I want this, and you figure out early on in your life, or at least in your 20s, or wherever you learn, is that you don't want that. There are men that thought their whole lives that they wanted a traditional marriage. And then they have fun with some hoes and they're like, wow, I really like playing the field and I really like sluts. Like I love slutty women. And I didn't know this about myself. And that's all that's all something that you find out on the journey. But what's sad is that a lot of people find out like an hour in, years into their marriage. They're like, why am I so unhappy? Why am I so this? Why am I so that? And um, the problem with us men is that we are sacrificial by nature. So we think, hey, we have to give up our happiness to make other people happy. And that is why it's almost like codified into law and codified into women's dating strategy that they can depend on this aspect of our nature is the sacrificial part of who we are. Is it fair? No, but it takes work to get over that, to put yourself first, to become your mental point of origin. And one of the ways you do it is by dating and being selfish and figure out, hey, I want this and I don't want that. And the whole world will shame you. They'll shame you, hey, you're too old to be doing this, or you're too young to be doing this. You should be this, you should that. Because there's nothing more scary to the world, to society at large, than a man that uh, figures out what he wants and lives for himself, right? They want these guys to just follow the script. And the thing is now though, the script isn't paying off. Like the men wanting traditional families, it's a lot of men have given up entirely. And I'm not talking about giving up at 40. I'm talking about men are giving up like at 25. Like, hey, this is not a reality. Like Aaron Clary says, it's not on the menu. And however you feel about that, I think it's a good thing. I'm not saying they should give up, but I'm saying that they are learning in real time and learning that the current way we do relationships and marriage does not work. It is not working. It is not working. And we can force fit it back to where it used to be. We can blame a gender, blame the other gender. None of those things is going to solve the problem. The only thing that's going to work is guys taking a step back and maybe updating how they date and stop with the old order thinking. Thinking that women need things from us other than excitement at first. Thinking that rewarding women for doing absolutely nothing in your life, stuff like that. So, how do you deal with online hate and racism on Twitter? I don't. I mean, guys, I was in the military. Like, there's nothing that I've heard online that is as bad as how we used to mess with each other in the military. You can ask Alex Patino. Like, it's just people are soft and people take everything on the internet personally. The only thing I really take personally is people leading other people down a bad path, because I've been around men, I've lived with men, I've been friends with men that kind of been on the edge or have their life being zeroed out in real time, and it sucks that these people who've never led men or done anything for men or giving them any good information think they can go on the internet and tell them things that will probably get them in lots of emotional trouble. Right. So that's the only thing I kind of take personally because it's really nefarious or it's just blind leading the blind. I don't like that. But other than that, I mean, they don't know, man. They don't. When someone like it's like my father said, if someone doesn't know you, how the hell can you take it personally? If they know you, like that you literally work with them or that you have some kind of relationship in real life with them, then you'll probably take it a little bit more personal. But if there's some person on the internet, how the hell can you take that personally? You know. So yeah, yeah. Hola de Mexico. Hi, Chad. What's up? Danger. Nice to see you here. Rob, Matt. Nice to see you guys here. Yeah. Hold on. I'm getting like my phone's blowing up. Who's texting me? Oh, my favorite coffee shop is saying, "Hey, we haven't seen you in a while." Well, that's because I usually only have go to that coffee shop before or after work. So, um, anyways, yeah, guys. So, Man in the Arena, very important. It's a speech that I really like because there's a lot of talkers. There's a lot of people on the internet who've never dated. It's like women are love to have their opinions online, but they've never seduced a woman ever. They'll say, "Well, it's healthy for a man to wait 3 dates, more than 3 dates for sex," and I'm like, "You don't have like these. You don't have a man's sex drive. You don't have a man's burden of performance. So how would you know?" So it's like it's almost insulting at this point. How would you know? How would you know what is going on in a man's body and mind and spirit when he's on a date? You can only see the women can only see the world through their own lens. And right now they're just like, oh, if I'm totally fine with waiting and stringing a guy along, then he should be fine with it too. I'm like, no, that we're not here to like people got to understand this. Dating isn't some kind of thing where both genders like hold hands and do kumbaya in a circle and get together and celebrate and come with like a solution for both. In order for one's sexual strategy to win, the other genders has to compromise or abandon their own. The thing with marriage was that marriage is essentially both people coming together for a reason, and that reason was survival. And life was hard. Men needed to go out and provide and protect, and women needed to stay home and have the babies. Neither gender needs to do that for each other anymore. We've everything is already taken care of. So, what is even marriage even for? And that's why a lot of men need to ask themselves, what is marriage for? If marriage is sacred, why is the state involved? And that's men need to start asking these questions. If she loves you, why does a the state need to be involved? What is the purpose? Is it because just in case, just in case things don't work out, she has a win? All these things, right, are things that you have to ask yourself as a man when it comes to dating relationships. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about asking the right questions, asking why. And as you ask why, come up with strategies to deal with things that don't make sense. So, why are you taking a girl out on a dinner? Why are girls demanding dinner dates, but I see them walk away with a guy on a first night for nothing? Why? Why are women wanting to get married even though nothing changes? It's just a title. Or not even a title, because some women aren't even changing their last name, right? Ask the questions and you will find the answers, and it's usually not a comfortable one because we as men have been lied to for our whole lives that marriage is a privilege for us. It's somehow what we should want, when in reality it's what women should want. And not even women want it until it's they need it or it's time, they hit the wall. So, yeah, what else are we going to do here? Instead of ask questions, just think and be like, how do we get women to stop with the how do we get women to do this? You can't get women to do anything, especially the ones that you're not having sex with. You can barely get women you're having sex with to do what you want. The ones you marry and date seriously and marry, maybe. And by that point you'll be too like it's exhausting to try to get another human being to like do exactly what you want. You hope that they have some level of competency and some level of understanding of their role as a girlfriend or wife, that you don't have to explain to them like basic stuff. And this is one of the things that parts of dating and relationships that kind of men are so obsessed with the end goal or the goal state, whatever, of a relationship these days. Like it's so blue pill thinking that when they get into the relationship, they are like, it's like when Plankton steals the Krabby Patty and they're like, "What are you going to do now, Plankton?" He's like, "I don't know. I never thought I'd get this far." And that's a lot of men. Like they get to the relationship and they're like, "Well, what are you going to do now, dude?" And they're like, "I don't know. I never thought." Well, nothing changes. You thought that a relationship was what you wanted, but it's just you. What usually happens is when men say they want relationships, what they really want is they want sex on tap. They just want sex on tap. If guys could get laid regularly with one or two attractive enough women, or three in a rotation, the relationship and marriage rate would drop even more. It would be abysmal. Like marriage would be a thing of the past. It would be like maybe 5% of men would get married. At least, you know, at least early on in life before 35. There would be no marriages, none. Marriage has become men's sexual strategy, acquiescing and giving their commitment in return for sex. And men try to take that and make it a moral thing. You know, they'll use religion, they'll use all that stuff. When you as a guy understand that you can get you can get sex in or out of commitment, then the value of your commitment will increase because you're not giving it away for sex. You're giving it away because, hey, I really want to be in a relationship. I enjoy this person. And if they don't like me, I can get sex in a week. You know, it's no big deal, or 2 weeks, whatever. So when it comes to this, uh, when it comes to this dynamic, understand that this is why you have to become the man in the arena. It's because you will be so far ahead of the average person in understanding yourself, why you do things, that you can't have a conversation. Like I can't have conversations with people about dating. They say, "Oh, you talk so much." I'm like, because the framework by which you build your understanding of women and dating is so flawed and flimsy that we have to start from the beginning. We have to start from the beginning. When I say things like relationship is her problem, I'm just like dumbfounded by how many men fight this. No, you're not a real man. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, why you should it's your problem too. And I'm like, how? Well, you have to worry about stuff. What do I have to worry about? The only thing that I'm like, hey, are we having sex or not? And then over time, naturally, she kind of either stays or says, hey, this guy's isn't committing, or hey, I found the guy to commit with. Thanks for the sex. I'll be back if things don't work out with this guy, which happens more often than you would think. So Alex Patino with the $10, sir. You get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Alex Patino with the generous $10. Remember, guys, women don't want marriage; they need it for survival because being a wife comes with duties and responsibilities that most women don't want. Why do you think it's called matrimony? Man, good point. That is why it's called matrimony. That is a banger tweet, Alex. I might steal that from you. But speaking of duties and responsibility, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. I don't know how much time I have. I'm expecting a call from my surgeon's office, but uh, one of the things that I kind of posted yesterday that people are having trouble. Hold on. People are having trouble understanding, and it's like it's one of those blind spots that people have as we have as men. And I'm going to bring it up here. 1 second. Present share screen. Here we go. And I don't need audio. Okay. So here we are. Let me blow this up for you guys, or it's already blown up. And this, I mean, semi popular tweet. It is saying essentially, uh, one of the most depressing things a woman can tell you is how impressed she is with your cooking. And this is one of those things where over time you start to think, yeah, I gotta be better, man. Like I have to improve. I have to kind of be self-reliant because this is what women want. Women don't want a child. They want a man. And that makes sense. Like do your own laundry, keep your house clean. And those are things that, maybe pass a couple dates or like when she starts considering you for, like, hey, this guy's good in bed. I mean, he's also got his life together. Like these are things that women do consider. However, I don't think a lot of people understood this. When someone says that you're good at something or overly impressed with something that is like sorry, that is, what do you call it? Like a basic life skill. Like, hey, uh cooking, cleaning, whatever, unless you're some kind of like professional chef, it just means that, hey, you're going to be doing this from now. Since you're good at it, you're going to be doing this. Have you guys ever been at a job where the way they get people to do things that are shitty is to tell them that they're good at those things, right? I remember growing up, my parents would always buy something that needed to be assembled, whether it be maybe a lawnmower or a piece of furniture or whatever. And then my dad would bring it home and be like, hey, can you put this together? You're so good at this. And at first I'm just like, ugh. And then I started liking the fact that my dad and my mom were like, wow, he's so good at putting stuff together. That was like 30 minutes. You're a star. And over time, I'm just like, wait, they're just saying this because they want me to do this for them and without, complaining or something. And I'm like, this is the same thing, guys. And guys, you need to stop falling for this. This isn't some kind of uh romantic nice thing that girls do. Like if you're doing something like cooking and a girl's like, wow, I'm amazed you made an egg. It's like, okay, why are you amazed at something so simple that everyone should know how to do? And also, if you want to be my girlfriend, do I have to teach you everything? Do I have to teach you how to be how to how to be a girlfriend? And women will take this as, "Oh, you want an," I'm like, "No, I want you to learn how to make an egg." Like everyone should know how to make an egg. Like if you don't know how to cook for yourself, you're going to get fat. And then our children, we're going to be broke. We're going to be spending $1,000 a month eating out. Sorry, not even a month, a week and every 10 days uh eating out or getting ready-made meals because you don't know how to cook. And not only that, some women say, well, I made this recipe. That's like literally 90, like 10% is the finished product. It's how you store food, right? How you use other ingredients and save money. It's how to shop for the right ingredients, how to save a dish that's going bad or something. All these things. And when a woman says, "Hey, I like that you can do this. It's awesome," and you're doing something super basic, like making a good fluffy egg or a steak. It's an early frame announcement saying, "I'm incompetent, and you're gonna take care of me." And I know it may be kind of a stretch, but trust me, I the women I dated that was the best cook. I remember making ramen in front of her, and she was highly critical. But boy, could that woman cook. She was like, I would have left the oyster sauce a little bit more on the spam. And that's really neat. That's really like niche kind of uh very detailed criticism of my cooking. And in my mind, I wasn't, at first I was like, whatever, but deep down I thought, if I ever marry this chick, I'm going to be eating good because this chick has high standards for how she cooks. I'm going to be eating like a king. And I'm going to be learning too, because I'm like, and this is the thing here, guys. There's a competency gap that we just don't know yet. There's something competent. There's something about being uh, a man where you finally get to the point where you're just like, okay, time to date girls, and I got the game, the money, the muscles, and then you date women, and you realize, wow, women really, as for as much as they criticize us, they really haven't grown up that much. Like they're still, they still can't feed, like they forget to eat all day, and then they forget to drink water. They don't meal prep, and all like it's just wow. This whole time, I thought women were as competent as I was, but they get lost in their, like it's like Four with Playboy says, they get lost in their own neighborhoods. They can't save money worth shit. They they can't make plans. They can't parallel. Like there's so much things as a guy that you'll find out when you date. You date your first woman as a competent man yourself, that you're just whoa, man. And that's why a lot of competent men have trouble finding women, because like women to date, it's because they're so off put by the prospect of having to take care of someone. And it becomes a problem. What do you mean you can't feed yourself? What do you mean you have to go eat out every day? You take out. You know how expensive that is? We're not millionaires. I can't we can't just eat out Chipotle every day, or leftovers from Chipotle every day. We have to cut up meat and season it correctly. And you have to be efficient. You can't just take 3 hours to cook. It has to be like boom boom boom, right? We got things to do, right? We got to learn how to clean up. We got to learn how to take things and reuse them. We got to learn to buy how to buy groceries correctly. We gotta look at our macros and be like, okay, we have to eat more protein. And it saying a woman that is impressed by the fact you can do those things is telling you, I suck at those things. Good thing you're here because you're going to take care of it. And that's all it is, guys. It's just an early frame announcement. It's not that hard. I don't know why this went over. It went over everyone's head. So, but yeah, we got a $10 from Alex Patino.
Thank you so much, best friend!
Alex Patino with the $10 matrimony. It has the first half of the word matri in Latin. Matri means mother. So in marriage, you fall into a matriarch arrangement. If you allow it, inheritances are called patrimony. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. $5. Thank you, sir. Um, you get one of these, sir.
Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. $6 shrimp special!
All right. Alex Patino again with the $5. Matrimony implies that you fall into a matriarch agreement. Patrimony implies that the man has the burden of performance of leaving an inheritance. Jesus. So even in the word, it's like sacrifice. So guys, always ask yourself, what am I getting out of this? What's the benefit? What do I get? Am I happy? Because women are doing that constantly, more often than we are. Men, we're happy with less, of course, but at the same time, we are also unable to ask ourselves if we're happy when we're miserable, or like to figure it out. We're like, no, I gotta see this through, and we have these beliefs. And but the thing is, if you had even 10% of the solipsism that women have, then you would do much better in life. And that I think that is a good mental model. Be selfish, mental point of origin. Because trust me, women like women are already naturally like this. It's hard for us to train ourselves this way, but it is what it is. Thanks, Alex. Is there any anime that shows the red pill? Yeah, a couple of them. I mean, any anime where the story is the male has a burden of performance, or the man gets betrayed by a woman, or anything like that, or heartbreak or anything. I would say any anime that has a positive portrayal of masculinity. It goes back to Rule Zero. Any anime that shows Rule Zero and gives men and boys that watch anime a positive portrayal of masculinity, which is, positive masculine identity, that I would say is red pill. It's interesting because if you guys look at, especially like the 90s anime, one of the things that kind of really is probably wouldn't exist today in American media is that women were shown to be incompetent. And that is a crazy thing to do. Like, if you watch Outlaw Star, like I think Aisha, she was the comic relief. She was always getting punched in the face and left behind and looked silly. She was a woman. Well, I mean, she was a cat woman, but she was more woman than cat, right? And she was strong. She had powers, but she was always fumbling and being dumb and looking dumb. And I'm like, wow, can you do that this day and age? A female comic relief character, which sucks at everything. While another thing about that anime is that the antagonist or the protagonist is fighting I forgot her name, the samurai lady. And the samurai lady is, she's a talented swordswoman, right? Like very talented. So when they fight, he ends up winning because he's more of like a his tactics to win are more unconventional, so he wins. And one of the ways he wins is that I think he just takes off her clothes, not like renders her naked, but kind of exposes her body a little bit. Like I think he yanks the robe a little bit, and she gets really embarrassed, and then she says, "Okay, you won." I, hey, and she's competent. Like the show did not want her to be incompetent. She was a quiet, badass female swordsman, but Gene Starwind is a competent character through. Another thing about that show that I would say it's one of the most red pill shows I've ever seen is that there is a scene where the main female interest, you don't know she's the main female interest yet, but the main female romantic interest, which is being used as a tool to get to a treasure, is sleeping. And Gene Starwind sees her sleeping and slowly comes over to creep and they show like really creepy eyes and sharp teeth to kind of like he's gonna touch her and wake her up and maybe do something he shouldn't do. His young boy sidekick hits him in the face and says, "What are you doing?" And then he like wakes up and he's like, "Oh, nothing, nothing." And that is red pill because it's making space and understanding the male sex drive. Now, I don't think it was gonna be he just trying to make a physical move, maybe wake her up and kiss her or something, hopefully with consent, right? But you can see how male sexuality was understood. It wasn't men. People knew that men were kind of pervy. Like it's just who we are. Sometimes we like women. We check them out. It's like that didn't take away from uh his heroic ascent to saving his crew and saving the girl. Like he was a sexual guy. Like he was a space pirate, essentially. One of the first episodes, he wakes up after having hooked up with a girl that he finds that's trying to lead them to the ship, the Outlaw Star. So it's like this is one of these shows that maybe it's because it was made for adults or something, but for the most part, it was very masculine, very cool, very 90s pro man kind of maybe 80s or 90s pro man environment. And even in the end, the man and the women kiss, and it's like ends up being a normal kind of ending. But up to that, there's female incompetence, which is interesting. There is understanding of the male sex drive and how we are. There is redemption because yes, he was a space pirate that wanted to put his hands on a girl and maybe whisk her away in a creepy way. But during the whole during the whole show, he wasn't just labeled. That wasn't who he was. He was like he had to get over his fear of space. He had to become less selfish, more what do you call it? More uh, competent. There we go. More competent. All that. So I think if you want to start there, that's a great anime that kind of teaches you not teaches you, but kind of shows a positive side of masculinity while also being very understanding about the not so positive or at least inconvenient ones to modern gynocentrism. So, good question. I like that. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's see. Let's get. All right. So we talked about why is it bad for women to be impressed with your cooking and other reasons for them not to be competent. We talked about man in the arena. We talked about red pill and anime. So uh, guys, Substack. I'm probably gonna release another Substack today at some point this afternoon. I got a lot of kind of work, insurance, health stuff to sort out, phone calls to make. But we will. I will continue. I'll be on Rule Zero this Saturday, and I will have a show this Sunday. Yeah. So things are still going. I'm just waiting for my get back to work later and all that stuff. So yeah. Uh, I appreciate the support on Substack. It's going well. I'll put the Substack link for you guys that want to subscribe. It's $7 a month, and right now I'm about to drop the 80-second essay, and I've been on the leaderboards for philosophy for the last like 5 weeks, 4 weeks. So I think it's worth the money, personally speaking, right? Don't take it from everyone else, take it from me. It's worth the money. I think you should take your time and read all of them, and just each read is like 2 or 3 minutes. It's not big reads. Some of them may be 5 or 6, but 2 minute reads, 3 minute reads. They're short essays. I'm not trying to like overload you guys with just dating rhetoric. It's pretty quick and simple and to the point. And then once I'm done with all 100, I roll it into a book and all that. Still, I'm gonna start thinking about the title this weekend, and I have ideas for the cover. And this is gonna take time, guys, because it's my first time, and um, you know, it's luckily I haven't been hit with writer's block. I never get writer's block because it's like each tweet I tend to take it as a writing prompt, and writing prompts really help get your the brain juices flowing and all that. So the last essay I wrote was you're gonna say dumb things to girls. Uh, it's right here. It's helpful, guys. Like these are stuff that I'm not trying to. The purpose of this writing is so you guys feel first off less alone, that you kind of have there's somebody that's what you're feeling, what you're going through. Someone is there also feeling the same thing, and that you're not crazy, that you shouldn't um, run to someone else who doesn't give a shit about how you feel, or is trying to use your guilt against you, or trying to get you to do something that you don't want to do. One of the things I wrote in here that I was like, this is one of the realest things I ever wrote. Uh, and I'm going to read this here. Actually, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up for you guys. So let me present, share screen. And okay. So it's here in this paragraph. And I'll read it out loud for you guys. The internet has become the noble, nose turned up elites of modern dating, while the lowly gladiators fight, entertain the world. They make fun of us for our takes, our failures, and our mistakes, while trying to convince the rest of the Coliseum audience that they're better than the man with the marred face and the damaged armor who learned how to get a girl to show up to a first date and charm her, deal with last-minute resistance, and make himself his own point of origin. Sadly and frustratingly to me, this causes men to cease the dating journey and go back to Reddit forums, X posts, and Substack articles where men and women try to undo all the learning you did with an expo or a clunky research article. And do you know how sad that is, guys? Do you guys understand how sad it is that men take X posts and X polls on X from like women with daddy issues, hyper sluts, women that don't like men that much, as gospel over their own lying eye. They're over their own nose, ears, and eyes and mouth. And this is what causes so much confusion. And guys think that these people are on their side. Like, no, here's what you do. Don't take it from me. Don't take it from anyone else in the chat. Go on a date. Go on 3 dates. Go on 10, or however. And come back and tell us what you learned. And then we can build on that. And guys, that's how the red pill was built. It wasn't built on polls. It wasn't built on clunky research articles that are unreplicable. Yeah, I said it right. Unreplicable. And also, there's one thing I will die on this hill. Asking women how they feel about things is not science. It will never be science. So, because of this, even if it's anonymously, because of this, it's frustrating to me because you are essentially having someone else decide how to go about your life. The purpose of the red pill was never to tell you what to do. It was to give you the tools to get you what you want. And people don't like that. People want you in line. People want you to validate their ego investments. They don't want you to be happy. If you like hoes, if you like sluts, if you like want to go to Mexico and do hookers and blow, then there's probably someone that's done it in a forum somewhere and says, "Hey, this is how you stay out of trouble while you're doing that." Hey, it's not the smartest thing to do, right? But if that's what you want, then the tools are. If you want to be married and have lots of kids and live a righteous, God-fearing life, there's people like Dalrock that will teach you about feminism in the church and all that stuff. There's something for everybody here. And anyone that tells you otherwise, that red pill is just, oh, these people are just players, or these people are it's like to one side we're like heartless players, and to the other side we're like women hating misogynists that want women to be barefoot and pregnant. It's like they don't even know and it's years. It's been years. No one asks, no one says, "Hey, what is actually the red pill?" They all put their own pet ideology or their enemy into it so they could be like, "Ooh, don't be like those guys," for whatever reason. And I have an article about that somewhere about the red pill and a video. But guys, that's why now we're here. So subscribe to the Substack. It's worth your money, trust me. And watch out for the next article. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you.